Yeah, good evening. I think we have to change something here. Valti.
Hi,
Yeah,
hi.
you are. You want to do the intro today? Hold on a second. We just have to switch that over here. We've got, wait, hold on a second. This is the struggle if,
Did we try it before?
wait, hold on. We're gonna be here in a second. Here you are. Here I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, good evening. That was a little hiccup. I gave away the secret who is my guest today. Hey, hello and welcome to DeFiChain on the 6th of July 2022, the news show that provides you with the latest updates to the DeFiChain project. Normally, it's the time when I call my DeFiChain specialist and co-moderator DC here in the studio, but today he's traveling to Vienna. So I have the pleasure to welcome Balthasar today, and here he is again. Sorry to put you on the spot here. How are you, Balthasar? Hey, thanks so much for joining, and yeah, that the seat doesn't stay empty while DC is traveling. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad that I started the show today.
Okay, we have to prepare next time. You have to do you have to do the intro next time. Hey, we had a really busy day. A lot of happened on DeFi chain. We had a hard fork. We set a couple of new parameters to get the DUSD story under control. We have the idea that we want to brainstorm a little bit together and speak a little bit about investing on DeFi chain. Where can DeFi chain go in the near future? Where do we see a lot of potential? But before we're going to start into that, I would like to talk about very quickly about the headlines for tonight, give a little bit an update what happened today, because maybe the one or the other hasn't heard it yet, and then we're going to go into our little discussion, if that's okay for you. So let's start with the Schlagzeilen heute. Yeah, today everything is a little bit confused. I'm a little bit out of sync, so sorry. We've got the German headlines here, but more or less I'm gonna translate it for you guys. So the hard fork happened. Everything was quite well. Everything worked very well. We're gonna talk about this. Then we've got a couple of thoughts. What happened on DeFi chain? There's a DeFi chain node upgrade, of course, with every hard fork. There's a wallet upgrade of the desktop wallet. There's a CFP DFIP voting ongoing at the moment. We've got some notable mentions, community projects, and last but not least, the dates. So for everybody who doesn't read German, at least you know what's going on. It's a little bit messed up here today. Sorry for that. It's a long day. I got up at 4:30, went for a ride, and now it's half past midnight. So that's already, yeah, that's a couple of hours. That's nearly 20 hours that I'm up already. Cool. Let me go quickly back what happened about 12 hours ago. The hard fork happened at this set block, 2,033,000. There was a mainnet update. Fort Canning Spring is the actual version that we are running on. Went really well. No hiccups. Everything like expected. Why is this update for us so important? We had this hiccup with the DUSD that it depegged from the $1. We had a discount that went down to 65 cents even, or maybe in the 50 range. We had to take action here. There were a lot of good inputs from the community. QE was so nice to put them then all together, and we put it up for voting. There was a masternode voting recently, and now we implemented on this hard fork all these activities. There are maybe three worth mentioning at the moment. There's DFIP A, B, and C. Let's call it like this. You find all on GitHub or on Twitter. There's so many links already. I don't want to waste too much time explaining them. There are actually two parts to the story. So first of all, we have a couple of unbacked USD in the system. These are logarithmic generated stable coins. They are there for a reason. I don't want to go back why they are there, but they are there. And then on the other side, we have backed USD. They are crypto backed. So it's a hybrid system that we are running. It's quite revolutionary and new. But it was, of course, not 100% flawless. The problem was there was a lot of sell-off on the market. Less USD is used at the moment. There are too many USD compared to DFI. That's why there's a slight imbalance in the system. Check out, there's a really good video that we've done. I don't want to praise myself too much because Kuki did the work here, the heavy lifting. It's called where does the DUSD discount come from? Check out that video. It's our new series, our new format, DeFiChain Demystified, and I think he explains very, very well what's happening there. So maybe one thing that is really worth mentioning here, there's a so-called stabilization fee. What's the stabilization fee? The stabilization fee is now if you want to swap out from DUSD to DFI. This is set to around 30% fee at the moment. That's quite high. I completely agree. It's high for a reason. It's a couple of people ask, why do we need this, right? Are there not other measures in place? There are a lot of measures are in place, but we want to make sure that it's very difficult to sell USD at the moment. That doesn't mean that it will never be possible to sell it. We want to make it at the moment a little bit more difficult. Why? A lot of big players on the chain were playing the DSD game up and down. There was a lot of FUD ongoing in the community. There were also a couple of influencers out there who saw big drama happening to DUSD and compared it with USD and stuff like that. We wanted to put a little bit a lock that this is not really happening. This is a measure that has a certain time period, and if the ratio between backed DUSD and logarithmic DUSD in the system stabilizes, this fee is gonna come down over time. There's a spreadsheet where you can check what fees are at the moment active. The Light Wallet where you trade on gives you a couple of warnings. There's a fee, there's a fee, there's a fee. Also, the percentage is going to be displayed in Light Wallet very soon. So everybody who does it it on purpose, so nobody can say later, I didn't know about that. So there's a lot of kind of barriers built in. Some people said, why have we not been informed early enough? First of all, it's all in the DFIPs. So there is nothing what anyone has done what was not agreed on. It was even voted by the masternodes, and I think the masternodes were very happy with these proposals. First of all, and it was communicated. We never had a topic so discussed, Balthasar. I think you've seen this as well, like this DUSD topic. There were blogs, there were discussions, there were videos, there were Twitter spaces. I think who hasn't heard about it now just woke up out of a coma or was just completely ignoring the topic as a matter of fact. So I think most people out there know it already. If this is a perfect solution at the moment, we think it's a very good solution. It's maybe not the perfect solution, what's a perfect solution, but I think it helps us really to get the price under control and now to stabilize the system in the right direction. So if there are further questions, check out, there's a blog, the Twitter space that Julian did today was excellent. Yusin was also there and a couple of other people spoke. I think it explains it a lot. So that we have the situation now that DUSD is back to $1. I don't know where it's hovering around, maybe even slightly above $1. There could be a premium now as well. I wanted to talk to you, Balthasar, and that was the long intro already. How do you feel about the whole situation? And then let's talk a little bit about DeFiChain in general. Where can the journey go? What could we do to help out to make it a stronger project? But I want to hand the word over to you because, you are my special guest here today.
I think you introduced the topic quite nicely, and this maybe is a very good bridge to talk about something that I personally appreciate a lot about DFI and DeFiChain, like the project as a whole, being that if you look at a lot of different DeFi or in general crypto projects, and I can tell you because I'm in cryptocurrency for a very long time by now, so plenty projects tell you a lot and promise you a lot, and then you want to invest because you get maybe hyped or whatever, but they don't do a lot of educational stuff. And that is something I really truly appreciate about DeFiChain, because as an investor, I always feel like education is the most important thing. Okay. Understanding how your investment actually works is the most important thing. And if you compare successful investors with non-successful investors or people that make money with people that lose money, most of the time, the difference is that people who actually make money, they only invest in what they understand. And therefore, so many people lose so much money with cryptocurrencies because most projects are kind of get rich fast schemes, and they don't really put the work and effort into providing good education. And that is what I like so much about DeFiChain, because just there's so many examples about how the DeFiChain community comes up with educational content. And one of the favorite recent examples that just happened, so to speak, is Demystified from Kügi and you. And everybody who hasn't seen it yet, I highly recommend you to watch it, because it is very, very valuable in terms of the content that you will get, because you will actually understand so much more details about DeFiChain and how are things and why are things the way they are. And if we take DUSD discount for an example, I think a lot of people just look at DeFi scan and then they see, oh, currently apparently displays that DUSD is like 50 cents now. What happened with Terra Luna? Oh no, it crashed, it went to zero. What should I do now? And then people panic. And that's why it's so important to get to really understand the system. And in Demystified, you perfectly, and Kügi as well, perfectly explains that the difference of price is because we have different pools, and the price is not made based on demand and supply like you have it on a centralized exchange. There is no order book where prices could crash. No, it depends on how much DUSD versus how much DFI you have. And because we have different pools that cannot get arbitraged, whenever movements happen on the DAX, you will have a difference of the prices. It's just the way the system is set up. And now what we kind of did is we approached the problem of having unbacked DUSD from both parts. From down by implementing fees, hence more and more DUSD will be burned over time, reducing the amount of unbacked DFI, and by incentivizing people to mint, to create more DUSD. Because now if you want to run into the system, if you want to get into the system, it now seems to be better to mint, hence create new DUSD that are fully backed. And of course, with new DUSD that are fully backed entering the system, we will have, as a percentage, more DUSD that are backed. And then the stabilization fee will drop down. And there's a table where you can look it up, how high it will be. And then swapping out of DUSD will be cheaper. Basically, what happened is there were big movements, because big players kind of played the game, like you already said, sort of trading the dollar, trading the DUSD.
And playing with the small guy on the chain. We could really see this, right? The big players were selling, everybody started panicking, the small guys sold, and then the big guys bought it back up again. So we had to stop that in a certain way as well, right?
Exactly. So this is now fixed, and now we can talk more about what is the project about? What can the community do, maybe? Because what means having a decentralized project? And I think so many people always talk about centralization versus decentralization. And all the people, they always want decentralization because they always say, we don't want to trust the centralized parties. We want to have a decentralized system. But I think a lot of people are not really aware or tend to forget that it's not just to have the benefits of decentralization, it is as well about paying the price of decentralization. And that means being responsible. You have responsibility. That means when you are in a project that is decentralized, that means that now you are part of the project. You cannot escape from that responsibility. That means now you have to get engaged into the project. Now you have to start thinking yourself how to improve the project. And then once you start contributing to the project, then later you may complain. But something that I don't like at all is when people don't really contribute, then they complain a lot if they think the project is not truly decentralized, even though it is. And then when things happen that they did not really contribute to, they try to complain. So my proposal would be, and I think you kind of agree on that, don't you, is we have a decentralized project. This is so powerful because it means that we can scale the full potential of the community. Every community member with an idea can get that idea to the community fund and can even get funding on it. I mean, just imagine if you have a business model or whatever idea, how to bring value into DeFiChain, maybe even a business model where you can start making money yourself, so it is even a win-win situation, you can make a proposal. Don't wait, just do it. We are waiting for you. And that's what I like so much about DeFiChain, that if you have an idea, just make a proposal, convince the master nodes, and start. And that is true decentralization, and that's what really makes me like this project.
That's a very good point, because I think for us it's we today we also not want to bitch around about people bitching around, right? So we want to actually empower you, and I don't know, we say it so many times, hey guys, if you have an idea, and there's a voting round ongoing, and we see there are a lot of people doing stuff, right? We've got 18 CFPs, and they are completely different stories. They are from tools that they're building to new startups that are coming up with fantastic ideas. First of all, support these projects, right? See if they give value to the chain, and then support these projects. And if you have a similar idea or something completely new and crazy, come up with that. I think the project is only as strong as the people who build on it, right? I think, of course, it's very easy to sit there and let everybody else do it and enjoy the gains. But I think the responsibility part in a decentralized project that you mentioned is a very, very important one. But it's the easy, forgotten one. Balthasar, now that we talk about taking responsibility, taking ownership here, there's a bias for action amongst certain people. How do you see, where should it go? Where's the potential for DeFiChain?
What I think is truly important is that we start by as well supporting new business ideas. So if you have an idea how you cannot just provide value in terms of tools or whatever, but as well in terms of starting a own business model where you think that you will end up making money, but at the same time, you will, for example, cause capital inflows for DeFiChain, or you will have a marketing campaign, or you will get DeFiChain into new markets, or you will improve the product somehow that we can get into new customers or whatever, then you should definitely do a project, and you should definitely do a funding proposal. And if you're not sure, for example, how to do it, or if you first want to kind of get feedback on your idea or whatsoever, just contact us. I mean, you can text me on Twitter, you can try to contact Mark or whatever. We really want to help because we are in the project, we have skin in the game, and we kind of want to get you to get more engaged as well. And I think this is the most important thing, that we get the community to be more active in terms of building and contributing. Because one thing is clear, that we are in a bear market right now. And a lot of projects are dying right now, but we are building. And the most important thing is that why a lot of people or a lot of projects around us go down, we can improve our value proposition. We can improve our marketing efforts, getting into new markets, because whenever there is winter, you know that one thing for sure, spring is going to come, summer is going to come. That means now we prepare. Now we go out, and then there will be a time where we can harvest. Now it's time for planting. Then there will be a time to harvest. And there's maybe one more thing that I would like to bring into the discussion right now in terms of cherry picking. You know, I know a lot of people are afraid because DeFi is down right now. I think what a lot of people don't really take into consideration is that DeFiChain started 2 years ago. It's fairly young, at I think about 10 cents or something. And we moved up to more than 5 USD, almost 6 USD. That's 50x. That's 50x. And I think a lot of people, and that's why I talk about cherry picking, just want to take the gains, but they don't understand that volatility is not a bug, it's the feature. And what made you experience those huge gains from 10 cents to 5 USD, those 50x, that's the volatility. And as an investor, you can ride that, you can use it for your advantage, but you have to know that what comes up must come down. Then it must consolidate. Then the development happens, and then it will go up again. But this is a natural thing, and I see it again and again with so many projects in cryptocurrencies, and a lot of people don't understand that. It cannot just go up. There must be a time where, after having such exponential growth, it must come down, it must correct, consolidate. Sort of emotions have to get swapped out, more improvements have to be made on the blockchain, on the value proposition, and then it can skyrocket again.
Absolutely. And using this time, I think using this winter, how you described it, to build and strengthen a project is a cool thing, right? Because in hype cycles, normally stuff doesn't happen anyway. Everybody's busy counting the dollars. But now,
Yeah, we
and
forget that.
right, and I can see that also in a lot of projects, right? A lot of people think, okay, hold on, maybe what we do is not enough, right? Maybe we have to build something stronger, and then they come up, how can I go into new markets? You had this fantastic idea about Africa, and you're still burning for the idea, right? So maybe if there's somebody out there somewhere, Africa is huge, right? And they wanna do something in Africa, reach out to Balthasar. He's absolutely game for this idea. There are teams now like some D-token projects. There's a project called the Cashflow Butler. They wanna just build a new product to go after new markets, right? There are people who are building tools to make it easier to navigate on DeFi chain, and these are all fantastic efforts. And yeah, and that's the good time to do it now, right? So yeah, that's very welcome. Cool, Balthasar. We're gonna wrap it up later. Thanks for your thoughts so far. Let me just go through the rest of the topics. Maybe not as exciting as what we've been discussing already, but I just want to mention it. The DeFi node, of course, every hard fork brings a new node, is 291. So who hasn't updated yet? Please make sure that your master node is running on the latest software. If you are on 290, it's not gonna working. Then you have to fall back and install the new node. So there's everything on GitHub. I think the people who run a master node, they fully understand that. I don't have to explain you. I'm not so much the tech guy here. There's a desktop wallet, latest version 2.15, also available for download on GitHub or even on the DeFiChain.com website. Download the update your wallet. If you run a masternode, you most likely gonna need this as well. We mentioned it already. There's a DFIP CFP voting round ongoing. 2 DFIPs and 19 community funding proposals. Balthasar mentioned that already. Get funded. Put your word out there. Try to find people to support you. Lobby. Get people into your project, right? Not everybody might be funded, but the good proposals always come out. And yeah, see, there are a couple of really good projects in there this time. So far, we have only 30 votes. That means nothing, right? We're going to expect a couple of hundred. So follow it. Please vote if you can vote. You can vote on DFX. You can vote on Cake. You can vote if you have a masternode. Just get in touch with your provider. They help you. Notable mentions. You mentioned DeFiChain Demystified. Big shout out to Kügi out there, who is a fantastic teacher for DeFiChain, always coming up with new idea, very creative to explain the stuff. We did 3 episodes so far. The 4th one is going to air tomorrow. It's about what influences the APR and what affects the API in the different pools. So don't miss that if you wanna learn a little bit more or hear a different angle to the whole story. And then 2 more episodes are in the making this week, so we're gonna talk about this next week. Community project updates, quick one. Accelerated team reported in. They are working on the airdrop. We mentioned that earlier on before. And they have a couple of blockchain events ongoing. There's one in Paris and one in Korea. One is in July, one is August. Get in touch with the accelerator team if you are on site or you want to go there, and maybe you're flying to Paris for your honeymoon anyway and you want to bring your beloved partner to the Metaverse Summit. I think we've got tickets there. Yeah, reach out to those guys. We're always looking for people who are using the tickets that we get our hands on. Then there's the first Learn and Earn campaign. This is wrapped up what Santiago did in Serbia, and I think we're gonna hear much more about it soon. And we have a first Spanish, I don't want to say the first Spanish influencer with Balthasar because you work with a couple of Spanish influencers, but the accelerator team has their first Spanish influencer. So gonna look forward how you rate the Spanish influencer coming from the other team. And last but not least, future dates. Next week news show. I think DC is back next week. Then we've got DeFiChain Demystified. I mentioned it already, is airing tomorrow, I think 8:30 or 7:30 in the evening. Check it out on channel. And then the next Fireside Chat in 2 weeks. That's going to be a big grand premiere. We're going to have a female guest finally. It took us, I think, about 10 episodes to finally secure a female counterparts to me that are going to interview. It's going to be super exciting. I've got a couple of really cool ladies in the pipeline who want to join me, but in 2 weeks. The first one, who is going to be, I'm going to tell you next week when everything is kind of agreed on, and I'm 100% sure that she's joining. But if she's really coming, I think you're in for a treat, guys. She's charming and super smart, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Good, Balthasar. So much about the not so exciting topics. I think it was really the DUSD story. It's complex, but I think if you follow the videos and the instructions or the blog post, it's really good to understand. Hey, I want to leave the last words to you. What do you want to kind of address in your last couple of minutes to the DeFiChain community out there? How do you see it? What should we focus on? What's, in your personal opinion, relevant right now?
I think, of course, right now are difficult times for a lot of people, and maybe this is the right time to really focus on learning. And I think a lot of people make a difference or make even a mistake, because for me, DeFiChain is about two things, to be honest. For me, I look at DeFiChain from the one hand as an investor.
Okay.
And on the other hand, I look at DeFiChain as someone who is just really much into the vision and the mission of DeFiChain, which for me is enabling decentralized finance to the whole world. Okay. Which basically means that there's so many people in this world that are disadvantaged because they have no opportunity of participating on returns of the market. And it's just the case that the market is moving up, and so many people are losing against inflation. And we in the first world, we just buy ETFs and we are hedged. And for me, this is the whole mission about getting competition into finance, where we, on the one hand, can get the opportunity to invest to so many people without any restrictions, without any borders. And on the other hand, we can get competition into finance, which is a gigantic, big industry of big white sharks. And we're gonna challenge them. And this is something that makes me so excited. And that is the one side. On the other hand, I just look at it as an investor who, of course, wants to make money. And I think most people kind of have the same feeling inside of those two things. And I can just reach out to those who look at it as an investment. It is all about managing your risk. Good investors or good investment decisions are always based on risk and managing risk. And when you feel bad now because DeFiChain has dropped a lot in price, just remember that maybe you are feeling that way because you're overexposed. Maybe you have invested too much of your net worth into one project. And as an investor, you should never do that. As an investor, you should always diversify. And I'm never getting tired of saying that, because as excited as I am about DeFiChain, I know that it is about diversifying risks. And I know that right now it is so important not to be overexposed, because I don't want to get emotionally so attached or moved that I would panic sell because I see my net worth just went down 80%. But investing into cryptocurrency, investing into DeFi, you have to know that those drawdowns are part of the game. Like I said before with the example of volatility. So even though now we are down, don't get mad about it. If you're in it for the long run. All those arguments that made you so passionate about it to get all your money into it, they are still all valid. But the sentiment has changed. So maybe look at the facts and learn from your mistakes and keep on building. That's what we have to do.
Fantastic. Completely agree. It's so easy to carry the way, right? If the prices are down, to forgetting all the good things why we actually came into the game. Mm-hmm. Thanks for reminding that. Yeah. Hey, Balthasar. Thank you so much for coming in and for taking the co-pilot seat here tonight. It's always a real treat if you're here. Yep. steering the DeFiChain news plane around the globe. It's always a pleasure having you here and seeing your side and getting different perspectives and seeing it from a different angle. Hey, everybody out there who joined us today, there's not going to be a question answers because I wanted to give Balthasar a little bit more time to elaborate on his ideas and to brainstorm a little bit. And I think it's a little bit rough times at the moment, so it's sometimes a little bit good to have a little bit of conversation. The question and answers are answered in many other places anyway. Hey, who was here tonight? Thanks a lot for watching. Everybody who sees the recording, of course. Similar thanks to you guys, Balthasar. Hope to see you soon. We're gonna plan the one or the other activity for sure soon. And yeah, and otherwise, see you next week on the DeFiChain news channel for the next news show. Thank you very much and have a great evening.